Point 7, yeah. Point 7, regarding the Day of Judgment. Right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Point 7, regarding the Day of Judgment and Hashr and Ma'ad. On the Day of Judgment, every person will be given his book of deeds in his hands. But if a person is pious, his book of deeds will be given in which hand? Right hand. And for a person who's hasn't been good, yes, and Father Christmas didn't visit him, then where will his book of deeds? Left hand. Okay? Is the left hand. We don't believe in Father Christmas, just in case someone wants to put a photo on. But for the disbelievers, their book of deeds will be given in such a way that the chest will be broken, as in it will be stuffed in. And the left hand will be taken through it and given from behind him in that hand. That makes sense. Something like straight in and out the other side, and the book is given there. Yes? So this is what will happen on the Day of Judgment. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Shikak says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ. That he's been given it from behind him, his back. But that's how it will be given to him. And then those people who are given in the left hand, they will say this, that I wish my book wasn't given to me. Yes? They will make that wish. Aqidah number 8. The Hawd. Hawd al-Kawthar is the truth. It exists. The Hawd al-Kawthar exists. What would be a nice translation for it? A pond, a reservoir, a river. What else are there? Stream, fountain. Yes? Any words that are similar to that fit all on it. There is a slight variation in them, isn't there? Yes? A river is different to a stream. Yes? A pond is different to a reservoir. And a fountain is different to what? A non-fountain. Okay? So, obviously there are these differences in them, but they all fit in terms of the meaning of how they Kawthar. The question is, how are you going to say that it fits? That's the first question, isn't it? Huh? It's all water. So would you call a little stream, a little beck, a river? Huh? You wouldn't, would you? So how would all this fit? If I'm saying that you can fit majority of these meanings, I wouldn't say all, but
it's relative.
Relative to?
From my point is that if it's relative, it could be anyone. So it's just not.
I'm saying it's all of them.
Yeah, it's not particularly defined.
Yeah. I'm saying it's all of them. But how I'm saying it's all of them, it's in the sense that in certain hadith Mubarak, I'm going to go through it as well, that the Prophet ﷺ describes how the Kawthar, and you get a sense that it's a river, a gushing river, to a point you can hear its water. Yes? You know, like you do the rapids. Yes? And is it canoeing? Yes? On those rapids. It's gushing water, isn't it? And you hear water. Yeah, flowing water. But it's rushing past. The Prophet described how the Kawthar like that. But sometimes the Prophet ﷺ describes it as it's water being calm. Yes? Then you understand that it's like a pond or a reservoir which has got pots in it, it's cups, which are equal or probably greater, I can't remember how this comes, أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام, however the Prophet said it, that are to the number of the stars. Yes? So you can't exactly drink from a river that's gushing past you. You can't do that, can you? So then from this you get a sense that it's still water. Now how does that work out? It works out, we said there are different, in a river, when you have a river, it has different stages, doesn't it? In different parts it behaves differently. So Hawd Kausar stems from the heaven. Yes? And it goes all the way down to just outside of Jannah. Yes? Right next to which a door which we call Babur Rayyan. You might have heard this, Rayyan. For the people who fast, they will enter through the door of fasting which is called Rayyan. Rayyan comes from Ray. Ray means to quench your thirst. Yes? So here they quench their thirst, don't they? Because the Prophet said that they will drink from here and they will enter heaven, and once they drink from here they will never be thirsty again. Yes? And this is, with the Hawd Kausar, those people will come and then the angels will stop them and they will say to the Prophet that you don't know what they did after you left. Then they did innovation and things like this. This is that same place. You understand, it's gushing from all the way from the heavens. When it comes here, it starts to become still. Yes? And it comes outside of heaven where the people, the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ will drink the water from. So all those meanings can fit, can't they? Yes? That makes sense? They say the length of this Hawd Kausar is a month's travel. Not in your Ferrari. Okay? On horseback. So from here you understand it's like a reservoir, a pond. Yes? And on its corners, I would say like diamond pots. Has he got that? Does he have that in the translation? Anyone who got the translation? No one? Pearls? Yes? Diamond pots or pans or cups. And the corners are in right angles. The corners are in right angles. Zawiya Qaima is a right angle, if you're reading the Urdu. Okay. We also teach geometry, a specific part of geometry. It's called trigonometry. Yes? If I get it right. Which is to do with triangles. It's a book called Uqladas, which we teach in the Dars Nizami course. Was it in English? Euclid or Euclid? Yes, the Greek philosopher who's known to be the father of geometry. But we study a specific part of geometry which is just to do with triangles. There is a certain part of circles and you do the basics with it, but then it goes over into triangles. And you might say, why do we do that? And there are many reasons as well. To work out the Qibla. Yes, we work out the Qibla using triangles. Yes. If the FBI were chasing you, yes, and they wanted to find out where you are, if you had used your phone and Wi-Fi, they will figure out where you are. But the algorithms, Sidi Naveed will know better, is probably based on trigonometry. Yes, based on triangles. If you were here, you could probably map out the whole of the world using this science, if you're very good at it. One person who was very good at it in the last century or so was Maulana Zafruddin Bihari, student of Ala Hazrat. And when the British had come, or one British guy, Edward or Charles, whatever his name was, he made a loose comment in regards to Maulanas that they don't do anything and they don't know anything, they're just backwards. Yes, but this person was meant to be a master in drawing maps and making sure that they're accurate. So then Maulana Zafruddin Bihari kind of challenged him that we'll sit here, we have to draw the world map, and we have to make sure that we put on the major cities of the world on it, yes, that you know of, and the coordinates have to be right as well. So Maulana Zafruddin Bihari had just sat there for about a majority of the day, and he mapped out the whole world using trigonometry. Okay. He mapped the whole world out and showed the major cities. And when Edward or Charles, whoever he was, he saw it, he had to put his hands up, thinking, I've never seen anything like this. He was a mathematician, so that's why he was very clever in that field. So it has right angles. Now when it has right angles, you don't expect a river to have right angles, do you? So you get a different sense here now, don't you, that it's got a right angle. It seems like it's holding water instead of water just gushing past it. It's holding water. Its soil is scented. Its water is whiter than milk and sweeter than honey. And it's purer than musk. Yes. Is that what you call it? Musk. Not the other musk. In our language it means a different thing. And the pots and pans, place that it has to drink water from, the cups, they are more than the number of stars. They are more than the number of stars. Have a look here first. Who's telling us this? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For a person to make that statement, he needs to know the number of stars. Yes? So our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew the number of stars. Yes? And that I would say would come under ilm ghaib. Yes? Beyond our sky, there's more stars, aren't there? Beyond our galaxy, there are other galaxies. And within those galaxies, there are stars. So here, the Prophet is saying that more than the number of stars. Similar to the hadith where Sayyidah Aisha was with the Prophet ﷺ and she asked, Ya Rasulullah, whose deeds are equal to the number of stars? So you see her belief as well, that she also knows or believes that the Prophet ﷺ knows the number of stars. She had this thing inside her that the Prophet is going to say her father's name, Abu Bakr Siddiq. But the Prophet said Sayyidina Umar. Sayyidina Umar. And then she felt it that my father's name was not said. And then later on the hadith carries on and the Prophet ﷺ tells her the greatness of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as Siddiq. But here we're looking at the Aqidah of Sayyidah Aisha. And then the Prophet ﷺ affirming it, that he knows the number by saying that the deeds of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu are equal to the number of stars. Okay. So we understand from that the Prophet ﷺ has ilm ghaib in sense of that he knows the deeds of people and he knows what they're equal to as well. Okay. The person who drinks the water of this Hawd Kawthar will never become thirsty after that. And from heaven, you get, I don't want to call it a gutter. What's another nice word? A pipe. Okay? We call it mizab as well. Yes? Just like a pipe. Yeah? From heaven they will come, and from there, water will keep coming into it, into Hawd Kawthar. One is made out of silver and the other one is made out of gold. Aqidah number 9. The scale is the truth. when we say is the truth, we mean it exists. Okay? Not that the scale is the truth, that I say is everything. The scale is not everything, it's the truth that it exists. People's deeds will be weighed on the scale. But this scale is a unique scale. Yes? Was it Newton who discovered gravity? Yeah? Newton will be scratching his head that day. Okay? He'll be looking for an apple to fall. The reason is that this scale, when it's heavy, it doesn't come down, it goes up. Yes? And the lighter it is, it comes down. So which means if your good deeds are heavy, they will go upwards. Yes? And if your good deeds are less, then it will fall to the ground. One of the significance of that, and I just thought this, I've never mentioned this before, is acceptance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look, when you throw something, is a sign of rejection, isn't it? Yes? So look at the scale, that when it goes up, it's a sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted it. It's been raised, it's been honored. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it. Okay? And when it goes down, it's a sign of rejection. I've never read that, I just made that up. So don't quote me on it, in case somebody puts an objection on you. And there are various other reasons why that's going to happen on that day. But don't think that the weighing here is based on your deeds. Yes? This is a concept which we don't have. That is based on just your deeds alone. The deeds will be weighed, but really, the scale is directly controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? Because we have narrations as well where people's deeds will be nothing, like literally minute compared to their sins. Yes? But then his deeds, the good deeds that he's done, they still go up. And he mentally will not be able to work out why is this, because he'll have mountains of sins. And he won't be able to work out why this is happening. Yes? But then there'll be certain things that he's done in his life that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about. Even the angels will be looking what's going on. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His mercy, forgives him.
The lady's door opening downstairs.
Anybody want to just get down? Don't those lights work outside?
They turned off today.
They turned off?
I don't know which one.
The switch is just outside that door. Yeah. Aqidah 10, is it? Is the other one? On this day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala Islam maqam mahmud, the praised maqam. That all of the previous people, and that came first and the last, they will all praise the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on this day. And this is promised to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aqidah number 11 is that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam on this day will have a flag. And it will be the flag of mercy. And it's called Liwa'ul Hamd. Liwa'ul Hamd. Liwa, it's an Urdu word as well. Anybody know what it means? Flag, okay, or banner. Hamd means praise, the flag of praise. And all of the creation will be under that flag. From Sayyidina Adam to the last person, they will be under this flag. Qida number 12. The bridge is the truth. The bridge exists. The reason we say this, we've said it a couple of times now regarding these things, the Ahlul Sunnah view is that all these things, they are in existence right now. Yes? Especially with heaven and hell, there are certain people who deny them. They say they're not in existence, they're going to be created on the Day of Judgment. No, we say that they are in existence right now. Okay? This is the bridge which is on the back of hell. When we say back here, it means on the mouth of it. And it stretches across hell. It's thinner than a hair and sharper than a sword. And this is the only way you can get to heaven. Only way you can get to heaven. Be a nice walk, wouldn't it?
No danger of feeling cold.
And no danger of feeling cold, yes. So, it's the only way. Our Prophet ﷺ will pass over it first, then the Anbiya ﷺ, then the rest of this nation, and then the rest of the nations. But on this bridge, people will pass over it in accordance to their actions and how they pass over it. Some will be like lightning, just like a straight ball, straight through. And because of the good deeds that they've been doing. Some will be like the wind. What's faster, the wind or lightning? Lightning, definitely. So some will be like the wind. So lightning, you see, just comes and goes, doesn't it? They'll be like that. And then some will be like the wind. And wind is pretty quick as well, isn't it? Some will be running. Some will be like horses, you know how horses, how fast they are, like other animals, and so on and so forth. They will be in this manner. Some will be dragging themselves really slowly. So according to how their own deeds are, that's the pace that they're going to have on over this bridge. Have you got the what he said after this? That on the sides of the bridge. Iron rods. Okay. You can. It's just the word is used. I think it's Hindi. It's like the hadith actually describes it to be like a hammer. Yeah, rods. And they'll be hanging from it. And on that day, when the people will be passing for it, whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives those rods or hammers or whatever their axes, to give a command to grab that person, to hit it, they will hit. Yes? They will strike it. Reminds you of gladiators. Okay? You know when you have those the swinging things? Yes? And you have to run past the I don't know what it used to be, but it's like a little bridge, isn't it? Something that spins. Yes? You have to run straight over it, but then you have to watch out for the things that are coming side to side. Something similar to that, maybe. Okay? Yes. So they will take it. But some will be hurt by this. They will be hurt by this, as in they won't be taken off to fall, but they just be hurt by it, but then they reach safely to the other side. But for some, it throws them straight into hell. Yes? It throws them straight into hell. So people will be busy trying to pass over the bridge. But those without sins, I should reiterate that. The one without sins, yes, the interceder of that day, the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam will be on the other sides making dua for his ummah. And the Prophet said, Rabbi sallim sallim. That Allah save them, grant them security, keep them secure. But this won't be done in one place though. This won't be done in one place. The Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam will keep going back and forth in all places. In all places, and they keep making dua for their ummah. The Prophet will be on the Mizan making this dua. The Prophet ﷺ will be near Hawz Kawthar making this dua. The Prophet ﷺ will be in all places that we've talked about. The Prophet ﷺ will be there. Then when they get to Hawz Kawthar, the Prophet ﷺ will give them with his own hands water to drink, or the water of Hawz Kawthar. But the point is that wherever the Muslims are, the ummah is, the Prophet ﷺ will be there waiting for all of them to make sure that they get into heaven with safety. But look at this, that on that day, every person will be selfish. Yes? They will only think about themselves on that day. But there's only one person on that day who will not think about himself, and that's our Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Our Prophet, wherever the Muslims are, whoever needs help, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam will be there to help them. This is the reality of the Day of Judgment. Which is longer than 50,000, or the amount of 50,000 years. 50,000 years. But those people who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it'll be very light for them. Very, very light. And it'll be, to them, it'll be just like that they've just read Salah, did a Jamaat, and they finished. Some say it'll be even less than that. So for some, it'll be like that they've blinked their eyes, and that's it, everything's over. Now, how does this work out? How does this work out? Where is 50,000 years and where is blinking of my eye? Person was to make an objection, then this person kept his eyes open for a long time. So how do you put these together?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for some people.
Yes. We're not going to say that there are different realms here, even though we can answer it that way. But we won't say that because everybody is in the same realm. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for people, enjoyable. But it'll be like that they will be in the mushahada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing one thing. Just witnessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? When you do one thing and you enjoy it, it sometimes feels like that you just have too less time. So they will be enjoying seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will divert their attention that now they need to enter heaven. Those who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for them it'll feel like that it's just, yes? I use the word carefully, lost in the love of Allah. Yes, drowned in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way that they don't witness anything else what's going on around them. They're just drowned in that love of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes their hearts to turn, not exactly away from Him, but turn towards what they need to do now. Yes, command them that you need to enter heaven now. So when they turn their heads towards that and start to move towards heaven, yes, they'll be saying to themselves that, that was only a second, couldn't we have more? Yes? So that's how it'll be like. So it's like a metaphor, isn't it? So we do that. So the greatest person, people will be that get the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That once a person sees Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that zawq, in that yearning, he'll stay drowned in it. He just want to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the first person to get to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So up to here we've talked about the brief aspects of the Day of Judgment, okay, and the stages that we have on the Day of Judgment, and how certain people will get punished, certain people will have blessings on that day. Now we're going to move on towards heaven and hell. Okay, heaven and hell. But there's two more Aqidahs before that. Aqidah number 13 is that heaven and hell are the truth. They exist. And the person who denies the existence is a kafir according to us. Denies the existence is a kafir. Aqidah number 14. Heaven and hell have been created for many, many years. And they exist right now. And this Aqidah is wrong to say that they will be created on the Day of Judgment. We, like the Mu'tazila, why don't we put kufr fatwa on them? Why don't we say the kafirs? The reason we don't say the kafir that they don't deny heaven and hell in itself. They deny that they're not existing right now. But they believe that it will exist. It's a slightly technical difference in terms of they don't deny heaven and hell. It's in the Quran, they believe it, but they don't believe that it exists right now, but on the Day of Judgment it will be created. There's a slight difference. Aqidah number 15. The Day of Judgment, resurrection, the hashr, the gathering of people, the accountability, reward, punishment, heaven and hell. These things, or what we mentioned, carry those meanings that we mentioned and what's common in Muslims. Yes, there's no other meaning. The person who says that they're the truth, they are the truth. He accepts them, but then gives them a different meaning. For example, when he says regarding reward, that the reward he gets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something else, that he sees his good rewards, good deeds rather, and then he just smiles. And the meaning of punishment is that when he sees his bad deeds, yes, he becomes sad. Now there's a difference to us, isn't it? We said the person actually gets punished. He's denying the punishment. Or that a person says that the hashr, where the people will gather on the Day of Judgment, this is only of the souls, not the body. So he's accepting hashr, but the meaning is given to hashr is slightly different. This person really, Sahib Badishah says, is really denying the reality of these things. Okay. And this person, he says that is a kafir as well. Okay. The next chapter is to do with heaven. Now heaven is a place which is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the believers. And in this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared many different types of blessings which our eyes have never even seen. Your ears have never heard of, nor has it even pondered into the heart of any person. The notion of it has not even come into a heart of a person or a thought of a person. And any examples that we give of heaven are only for you to understand. Otherwise, the truth is that in this world, heaven doesn't have an example. Heaven is a lot greater than this world. And taking such that if a woman, a heavenly lady was to look just one side towards the earth, just a little peek, like they say, then she would illuminate the whole of the world. Yes? Look at this, if she was to remove her veil, then it would illuminate the whole of the world, and her scent would fragrance the whole of this universe. And her light would cover the light of the sun and the moon. As in there will be nothing compared to her light. Just an example to say that these are the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for you in heaven. And the Prophet said that her scarf, her veil, is just her veil, is better than everything in the dunya and everything within the dunya. Her scarf. If a scarf like that, then imagine what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created beyond that. Yes? In heaven. In another nation it stated that if a heavenly lady, a hur, if she was to place her palm between the heavens and the earth, then the Prophet said this, then the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be in a dire fitna. Yes? As in, the beauty of a hand is such that the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not be able to ignore that beauty. But it's just an example again to show you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in heaven. Yes? And maybe this is just a small example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made greater things for you than this. Yes? And you might say, why this example? The women are going to say that. Yeah? Why this example? The example is because a man's biggest jihad in nafs is that, isn't it? Yes? And I say this openly. We tend to blame women all the time. You know, when you get into those family feuds, right? Divorce cases, right? And these things come out and we have to sometimes hear them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us all. But it comes out and we start saying, oh, the woman's like this and she's like that and she's like this and she's like that. It all just comes out like that, doesn't it? Yes? She dresses this way and she dresses that way. Yes? And we try to make it look like that women are sexually driven. Yes? The truth is the opposite. understand what I'm saying. The truth is the total opposite. It is actually men who are like that. Yes? And the men actually say in that way because they're really letting out their own steam from inside them. And this is the truth. This is the truth. Yes? A lady can be away from a man for years upon years upon years. Yes? But try that for a man to be away from his wife. It won't happen. We have pious men. I'm talking about this day and age. Okay? It will not happen. Yes? Men are the freaks in all of this. And I say as well clearly to many couples that come to me, I say clearly to them that they are the freaks in all of this. Yes? I had one case where literally if I just say in like a indication that the wife in that case was doing ghusl throughout the whole day. Yes? If you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay? Which is not on, is it? Yes? And then he has the audacity to say to his wife that she's like that. Yes? Where she's saying that I can't do anything. I have no social life, I have nothing just because he's doing this. Yes? And a similar case like that came in the papers a couple of years ago as well. Yes? Because the person was doing something like this. And a Muslim as well. He came in the TNA a long time, about 5 years ago. So you have to look at it in this way. Now this is the point, the reason I mentioned that is to understand the example then. Yes? The reason this is given as an example, I would say, is because it's the lowest thing that you probably, from all the ni'mas of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is probably the lowest one. But then you're still in wonder from this lowest ni'mah. Yes? You as men are in wonder, subhanallah, what a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? That she's just going to show her hand and that's it. All men in the world will be in fitna. They'll be in a trial, a test to try and control themselves and they won't be able to control themselves. Yes? It's a low example, isn't it? Yes? So it makes you think that what's beyond it? What has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prepared beyond this, if this is the lowest example? Okay.
Is that why it sort of links into what you just said, that in the Quran it references the Quran?
Yes. It's really there to the word incite, yeah, to incite the Sahaba Ikram, the Muslim Ummah to come and do these things. Yes, to make you think as well that some people might be doing it for those reasons to get the hur. Yes, but those who are intellectual, like the Sahaba Ikram, all of them were intellectual. They knew that the Prophet ﷺ is giving us a small example. Yes, but that's greater blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like having the vision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? So they would think like that. That just a low example. But what's the point of giving a low example? So it goes for everybody's intellect. Look, if you give a high example, like seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yes, some people might not be able to understand that. Yes, because of their nafs. So they can't understand that because what am I going to get from that? People say that. And they might question it. So that high example hasn't been given. Yes? But the low example has been given. Why? Because everybody, according to his own intellect, according to his own emotions, to whichever way he understands things, yes, he will understand this verse or this thing that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned.
It's quite interesting because it sort of links into the hadith when Rasulullah talks about whatever your hijrah is for.
Yes.
If it's for
worldly, then it's worldly thing. Yes. It's same in that.
It's the same
Yes.
sort of gradation.
Yes. But here, look, when you talk to people as well, like the Prophet said that consider. I think Sayyidina Ali said it. That consider the state of people. Yes, and then talk to them according to that state. Sometimes you can't do that. So what you do is you use examples in which where the most intellectual person, he will see straight through the example and understand what you're actually trying to say. Yes, and the person who's not very bright, yes, he will stick to the face of that example, but at least you still explain something to him. Yes, and what's the minimum here in terms of these examples? Turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, there might be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do in terms of obligation. Then the minimum is by giving this example that look, you get this reward, just do the obligation. Do you understand that? Yes? So it works both ways. Now look at that, if something as the size of a nail was to appear in the dunya, yes, then it would beautify the whole of the universe. And if a bracelet was to come, it would remove the sunlight, as in the sun's own light. I mean, that's how shiny it'll be. Just as the stars disappear in the sun will disappear in the sparkle of this bangle. A wasteland, yes, it's not exactly a wasteland in heaven, but if you just imagine it to be a wasteland, then the wasteland of heaven is greater and better than the world and everything in it. When we say the world and everything, it means the universe. Now, how big is heaven? Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam know. Yes. But briefly, you can say that heaven has 100 ranks, 100 floors, 100 BD codes. Okay, yes. So it goes all the way to BD 100. Okay. And in every area, every rank, the difference between them is the difference between the heavens and the earth. That's big, isn't it? Heavens and the earth. But then that's the distance between the first rank and the second rank, isn't it? Yes? But how big is the rank itself? That's the next question. Yes? You understand that if you're on top of each other, then you understand that the first heaven, if you like, the first rank from the second rank, the distance between it is the distance of the heavens and the earth. But how big is the rank itself? We don't have a narration for that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح
So there's no specific narration. The author says that he doesn't have any specific narration in mind. But he says that he does recall a hadith of Tirmidhi in which the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that if the whole of the universe, the creation, was to fit in one rank, yes, the one rank on heaven will still be bigger than it. Okay? Does that make sense? That one rank, if all the people of this dunya were to be placed in one rank of heaven, then that one rank of heaven, that one daraja, will still be big enough to handle all of them. But then shows the size of it, doesn't it? Heaven has a tree, and the shadow of that tree, it is narrated that if a person on horseback was to ride in it for 100 years, yes, that shadow still wouldn't finish. It shows you how big it is. The doors of heaven are expansive and they're so big that if you took a horse from one end and ride it to the other end, it would be the way of 70 years. That's a big door. Okay. Big door, isn't it? But the people that will still enter will be shoulder to shoulder. Yes? Shoulder to shoulder, not toe to toe. Okay? I was listening to something the other day and the person was arguing that we don't stand in salah toe to toe. So the Salafi guy said that you should stand like that, shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, or feet to feet. And the Hanafi guy goes, why? He says that look, the Prophet said that if you leave a gap in the rows, then the shaitan goes through. Yes, he stands through. So what you do is you block him off. So you block him off with your shoulders and block him off with your feet. The Hanafi says, but you left your legs open so he goes through there. Okay. So it's shoulder to shoulder here. Yes? Shoulder to shoulder. As in, when you're in a crowd, what happens? You tend to just be all clogged together, don't you? Yes? And you just move like penguins then, don't you? Just move along. Have you ever seen penguins move? Yes? They're just small steps and you just keep moving along. But literally, yeah, like you're doing tawaf. In tawaf sometimes, I don't know if you've been in it, if you're in that little crowd, you just naturally move yourself. You're actually being pushed along. Yes? And you just keep going around. Yes. So it'll be something like this. So look, so it shows how much of the creation there will be as well. This is a sign that how big the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. There was a story Shaykh Muhammad told us once. I forgot it a bit, but I'll tell you anyway. This person used to make something. I'm not sure what it was. It looks like our bangan, okay? Because it had a different name though. But what you do is you take the middle bit out and then you stuff it with meat or something. Yes? And maybe it's meant to be a Syrian delicacy over there. But it's always sold stuff. So an old man used to prepare this, but only just take out the inside and not stuff it with anything. And is it called tamar? The water that you get? Yes? Imli. Yes? They dip it in that and they still keep it in that. So this old man used to prepare lots of these, a whole barrel of them. Yes? And every day for 40 years before he went home, towards Maghrib time, he used to sell all of them. Yes? So one day a man came to him and bought one of them. And as this man used to walk in the streets, he used to shout out this like a slogan that, oh Allah, how much of your creation is there? Yes? How much of your creation have you created? He used to say in Syrian dialect. Oh Allah, how much of your creation have you created? When I can wonder how much of the creation you have created. Yes? So this one man came and bought this off him. He took it home, but because when you see it being sold in Syria, then it is stuffed, yes, and it's expensive to buy as well. So he bought it very cheap. So he took it home, but when you opened it all up, there's nothing inside it, yes. So he's come back complaining, saying that you've done me over basically. The old man says, I've been selling them for 40 years. And I've prepared a whole barrel every single day of those 40 years, and I've sold them out before I went home. Yes? Not a single person came back to me. Understand it? Not a single person came back to me. Yeah? I.e., what? Every day there was always a new customer. There was never an old customer. So hence his statement that, oh Allah, how much of creation have you created? Different people coming for 40 years. I've never seen the same person twice. Because they knew that he's ripped them off basically. Okay? So that's how much creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. He's only in one city though. Yes? In one time. Yes? 40 years you could say is one era if you like. Yes? In one era, that's just one thing, and he's never seen the same person twice. Yeah? For 40 years. So it shows that how much of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there is. And here we have the same example as well, that the door is so big. Yes? 70 years travel from one corner to the other side of that door. But yet people are still going to be going in, and they're going to be going in squashed. Right? Shoulder to shoulder. Shows you how much of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there is. And here it says that just because of the sheer amount of rush, yes, the doors will start to make noises, creak, they start to creak. Yes. You know the sound when you open the doors and they need WD-40 on them, okay? That kind of sound, the doors will do that. That shows that how they'll keep opening and closing and so forth. And inside heaven, there are different types of palaces made from different types of diamonds and emeralds and pearls, to such an extent that they are so pure that you will be able to see inside them. So when you're standing outside, you can see inside, and if you're inside, you can see outside. The walls of heaven are made out of gold and silver, bricks. And if it's made out of soil, then it'll be made out of musk. Yeah, I mean it'll be scented like that. One brick will be of gold, one of silver. The land will be made of saffron. And in places of little pebbles and stones, there'll be emeralds and diamonds. And in one narration it says in Jannatul Adan, one brick is going to be white. White diamond. One will be made from a red ruby, and one will be made from a green emerald. Different things. And in the place of grass, there will be saffron. And in the place of the diamonds, there will be tents. And those tents will be like 70 miles high. Heaven has 4 rivers. One of water, one of milk, the third one of honey, and the fourth one is sharab. Literally sometimes it's translated as alcohol.
Non-intoxicating.
In heaven everything is jaiz. Yes? Everything is permitted. So even if it intoxicates, there's no laws. in regards to that. Yes? Taklif is of this dunya. Remember the definition of taklif? Where you are burdened with Sharia. It's only in this world. In the hereafter, you won't be burdened. Yes? But those people that will enter heaven will still do those things that they did in the dunya, in terms of praying salah and things like this.
Hanafi fiqh will not apply.
On that, in heaven, you'll all be Hanafis. Even the Shafi'is. So from these smaller rivers come out of them. From these four major rivers, smaller streams or rivers come out from them, and they will pass through underneath every single house. So your own supply as well. Okay? So you don't have to worry about things. And the rivers of heaven don't need to be within the earth, if you know what I mean. They don't have to have banks. Yes? So like you see a river now, it has to have a bank to contain it. Yes? The rivers of heaven don't need to be contained. So they just flow over the land and they stay in their path. Yes? So you have to have the banks. Yes? And it stops the river from overflowing, doesn't it? Yes? From spreading sideways. So it always keeps rushing forward. But in heaven, it won't need banks. Okay. So it won't need those banks. So in essence, it doesn't need for you to direct the water anywhere. Wherever you want that water to go, it'll go. Okay. Somebody sharing my post and it's gone mental. It's what, 20 posts he shared, it won't go. So so here the alcohol of the heavens is not like the alcohol of this dunya. The alcohol of the dunya stinks. Yes? It literally stinks. And the alcohol of heaven will not stink. Does it? Eh? I mean, you just have to walk into the supermarket and then you can smell it. If you walk past the pub, then you see it. When you have to deal with people who are drunk, then you actually know. And you might say that, or you're just saying that because you're Muslims. Okay? You're Muslimics. But the truth is, if you look at people who do drink alcohol as well, yes, they see a person who's drunk, the first thing they'll do is, "Oh, you've been drinking, haven't you?" And they move away from him. Yes? Why are they doing that? Because the smell that's coming from him. So they also, the people who drink are also showing the sign that it stinks. Yes? So that's ijma then. Yeah, that's a consensus by us and by those people who drink that it stinks. But the alcohol of heaven will not stink. The alcohol of this dunya intoxicates to such a point that it takes away your aql, where you can't differentiate between things. But the alcohol of heaven will not do that. Will not do that. So it'll be a pure alcohol, pure and clean, and keep a person pure as well. We'll stop there, we'll come back after Isha Salah, inshallah. In heaven, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide many different types of food. I said of different tastes. And whatever type of food or blessing you need, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you it. And it'll be in front of you. So no farming. You don't have to wait for it. Having said that, there's no supermarkets. Okay, so you won't.
Ladies, they won't get fat.
Yeah, ladies won't get fat. Some people enjoy being fat. So it depends on the person. It depends on the person really. So whatever a person wants, yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give that to the person. If a person, for example, sees a bird and he wants to eat that bird, yes, then it'll be prepared already for him. So his wife doesn't have to do anything. So it'll just be prepared for him. As soon as he thinks of it, so it's not even a case of like preparing things. But having said that, again, look at it in terms of the lowest example. Yes? Remember what we was talking about earlier on? Look at it in terms of the lowest example. Because for example, look, you've got a chef. I imagine that chefs like cooking. So just imagine a chef was to go to heaven. He doesn't exactly want to have it prepared already as well, does he? Because sometimes a person likes preparing things, cooking, or whatever his hobby is. Yes? Most of you probably like shooting. Yes? So now you don't just want to say, I want to shoot. Yes? But the bird you want to shoot, or the jar that you want to shoot, the target that you want to shoot has already been shot. There's no fun in that, is there? Yes? So you have to look at it in terms of the lowest example, and that is that men are lazy. Yes? So they don't think about what gets involved in terms of the cooking. So they just want it in front of them. That's what they want. So that's why this example has been given. Yes? But on the other hand, for women, they're probably more intellectual in this. And that is, yes, we can, if we wanted whatever we wanted, we don't have to go to the supermarket and buy it. Yes, we can just have it there, and maybe we can cook it and do whatever we want with it. Yes, so it's not denying that fact as well, that if you want to prepare something in heaven, you can prepare it. Yes, it's not a case that it's been said that you're going to have it. You can only have it ready-made. You can't cook it. That's not what this hadith is stating. Rather, it's stating the lowest example, that if you want those people that just like it to be ready prepared in front of you, then you're going to get that. But if you want to prepare it yourselves, you can as well. Yes? And you can prepare anything you like, something that you never cooked in your whole life. That will even be there. Yes? Maybe you want to eat a dragon or something. Yes? So that may be there.
Mythical creatures.
Yeah, they'll be there. The way I look at it is that the notion of these things has to come from somewhere. Yes? The notion of these things has to come from somewhere. So if you can have an image in your mind, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can create it for you. I was talking to some of the kids where I got dragons from actually. And the kid I think was watching How to Train a Dragon. Yeah. So when he was talking about heaven to the kids, and I asked, what do you want in heaven? He said, I want a dragon, I want to fly it. Yes? So the point is, just imagine this kid will go to heaven, inshallah, and he's going to ask for that. Yes? And the Prophet ﷺ has promised us that whatever you wish for, you will get. Whatever you wish for, you will get. So, will this kid get a dragon? If he was in heaven, will he get a dragon? Yes, he would get a dragon. He would get a dragon. Yeah.
It's interesting is this construct of community existence of maybe for a long period of time and so on, but we're exposed to them, so we have them as a basic foundation in
Yes.
our lexicon. However, in the time gone by, they wouldn't know the principle of a dragon maybe in the same way that we perhaps do.
It's difficult. Why? Because I look at it this way, maybe the dragons did exist. Yes? Because you have a whole nation mad about dragons. Who are they? Chinese. Yes? Chinese. So you have it in northern India. If you go up towards Gilgit in Pakistan, Yes, you still have concept of these, of dragons. So it's there. I'm not saying that they actually existed, but maybe they jinn or something. I don't know. Yes, but it had to be born from somewhere.
And Game of Thrones as well.
What's that?
And in Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, in Game of Thrones. So this concept it carries on, doesn't it? It carries on. So it's like whatever you want. Yes, what would you want in heaven?
We'll go with dragons as well.
I was thinking you're gonna say jetpacks or something. Muslimic ray guns. I'm sure you've all seen that video. The not BMP, EDL, where the guy says, "You Muslimics are bringing Iraqi law," and these Muslimics have ray guns. Okay. So when a person is thirsty, those pots will be filled with water already. Yes, the pots will be filled with water already. And in those pots will be the right amount of water that will quench your thirst. I mean, whatever you need at that time, that's what will be there. There'll be water, milk, alcohol, honey, whatever you want. Yes? Whatever you want there, it will be there. Neither will it be a drop more or less. It will be the right amount that you need. Impurities won't be in heaven. No impurities. So you might say, when I eat all this and drink all this, what happens? It's stated in Hadith Sharif that you just do a nice burp. Okay? You make a burp and all the pains of the stomachs, which you won't have pains of the stomach, all of it will be, your stomach will be relieved. Yes? By a burp. So there won't be any impurities on the body, male, kuchel, all of this won't be there. Even when you sweat, it'll have fragrance. Food that you'll be easily digested, again you burp. And every person will have the strength of 100 men. Every person will have the strength of 100 men. That's women as well. When we say men here, it's for both. But every time a person will be in the state of tasbih, takbir, yes, with intention, with that intention, he'll be making tasbih. And the tasbih will be such, like his breath, just natural. This is why you should get yourselves used to this in the dunya. That you breathe in or out, you even talking, then some part of your body is doing the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And it's not cultish to do that. Okay? People, if you're part of a tariq, or these days people will call you a cult. Yes? It's not cultish, it's the way of the awliya ikram. Yeah, awliya ikram throughout time have been part of tariqas. Yes, throughout the whole of the Islamic Ahlul Sunnah world. Yes, for you to follow your teachers, for you to follow your sheikhs, your peers. Yes, is part and parcel of the way of the Ahlul Sunnah. Yes, and if your sheikh or your teachers command you something which is not against Sharia, obviously, then it is your job to fulfill it. Yes. For he's your teacher, just like your father was to tell you something, you do it. If your teachers tell you to do something, or your sheikh tells you to do something, then you fulfill it. Yeah? So same thing in the realm of tasawwuf. When you come there are certain boundaries that when your sheikh tells you to do, if you're disobedient, then your suluk ends there. Yes, in the boundaries of tasawwuf. So you have to follow what the sheikh says. Yeah? You can look at Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani and how he used to deal with his students. Of how he used to make them do certain things, and in this day and age, and the people the standard of people in this day and the intellect that they have, they'll probably even class Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani to be a cult as well. Yes, which is far from the truth. Yes, the awliya Ikram had their own way of doing things. Yes, of how they dealt with things, of how they would make sure that their students, their murids, right, would leave the whole of the dunya and submit to him, submit to the Shaykh. Okay? And you find this in the way of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani and throughout many writings of the awliya Ikram. That the student has to submit everything. That's in tasawwuf. Okay? That he has to submit everything. That whatever the Shaykh says, that's what goes. Again, as long as it's not against Sharia. If it's against Sharia, then the student has to. This is not blind following, as some people say. It just shows their level of their intellect, that they are saying these things. It's not blind following. If your Shaykh says something, then do it. For example, Dawat Islami and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow it to live till the day of judgment. Yes, probably one of the best Sunni da'wah organizations. Yes, they've changed the Imam Sharif. Yes, there's nothing wrong with green, but they've changed it. But by the intellect of certain people, they say, oh, look how all these are, they're blind followers. Yeah. The Shaykh was wearing green, so they all wore green. Now the Shaykh is wearing different imamas, and now they're all wearing different imamas. Yeah. That's not, you just go with the flow. The awliya Ikram did this. That you follow your shaykh, you follow in their sunnah. As he travels further and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his state changes. Yes, and the lower murids, their state changes along with him. Yes, he travels, they travel along with him. And this is written by the awliya Ikram in many, many books. So when people just come out with and they say it's a cult, is this, that, the other, then it shows that they haven't understood what the Ahlul Sunnah is about. They haven't understood what Islam is about. They haven't understood what the awliya Ikram are about as well. Anyway, so to bring yourselves to this position where you are always doing the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody denies that you can reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by yourself. Yeah? But you must be a really pious person to do that. Okay? Because great awliya Ikram needed a shaykh to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? When we say it's necessary to have a shaykh, we mean it in terms of tariqah. Yes? In terms of tasawwuf, in tasawwuf is wajib to have a shaykh. In tasawwuf. Yes? Generally, outside of tasawwuf is a science, isn't it? Outside, if you look at it from a fiqh aspect, then your teachers are enough. If you're connected to a teacher in terms of the apparent sciences, then that's enough. Yes? As in terms of that, for you to be secure. But if you are serious about reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you need to step into the realm of tasawwuf, okay, and take a shaykh in tasawwuf. And you'll see that a totally different world will open in front of your eyes. Yes? And it's not necessarily that it happens on the first day. It could take 20 years, it may take 30 years. Yes? But those people that step into tasawwuf and they take bay'ah and things like this, and they don't really understand it, and I'm not even talking about ulama. They step into it and they don't know what's going on. And they only have one thing, that they just want to take bay'ah, and they think that just because they've mountains of knowledge, that they've got big knowledge, yes, and they stood with so-and-so shaykh and so-and-so shaykh, they start with so-and-so shaykh, and then they bring out 1,000 other videos which start with a different shaykh, yes, just because they think that they're big scholars. They think that the shaykh will automatically give them khilafah, yes, but they don't even know that the knowledge that they sometimes possess is the devil in itself as well. Yes? So this is why you see many shuyukh will have big murid, scholars as murids. Yeah? But when it comes time to making a khalifa, yeah, they're literally the guy who doesn't know anything from amongst them lot, he's been made khalifa. Yeah? Being a scholar is not a ticket straight to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? It's a means to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but it's not a free pass to say that's it, you've reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because knowledge brings arrogance. Yes? And arrogance is the biggest thing that will destroy you. Yes? If you fall into it, it will totally destroy you. And this is why you see people then start making all these assumptions, especially those scholars who want to be part of a tariqah, and then maybe they did come into tariqah, but then nothing happened because they were too arrogant. Yes? Or they couldn't let go of their own ego to do certain things that the Shaykh said. For example, in tariqah, sometimes the Shaykh says, you're a scholar, you know what to do? Just clean the toilets for a while of the masjid for free. When the Shaykh might say, our zikr time or our Jamaat time, masjid Jamaat time, if you're not leading the prayer, then just go to the back and straighten everybody's shoes. Yes? Now, that scholar or whoever he is, yes, it might be his lineage that made him get this pride. He might not be able to do it. And because of that, the doors don't open up for him. When the doors don't open up, then he just comes out of that circle and starts denying and start saying that this is a cult, this is blind following, yes, and things like this. Tasawwuf is all about adab and putting that adab upon yourself. But to bring one thing about, that you're in such a state, in such a pious state, that you can come in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a pure tongue and a pure body, pure mind, pure heart, pure soul, then in that state you do the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? But anybody who enters heaven will be in that state. Yes? To such a point that their tongue, their body, their soul, everything will be pure, and he'll be saying the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like they breathe normally. Okay? There will be khadims. I don't want to call them servants, but butlers. Okay? Something you understand. We call them khadims. They will be there and they'll be serving you. They'll have plates of silver in one hand and gold in the other. And in every pot there will be different colors. Different, meaning different types of blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we say different colors, it means different types of ni'mah, different types of foods. Yes? The more he eats, the more he gains a taste, a different taste. And every time he eats, there will be a different taste. And in every morsel of food that he takes, there will be 70 70 maze honge. Yes? 70 tastes. I was teaching this about 2 years ago, I think, somewhere. And there was a new Muslim sat in front of me. And he goes, and I said, I don't know how to understand that. Yes? This one of the words that came out of my mouth was that I'm not sure how that's going to be and how it's going to taste like. I don't really understand it. He sat in front of me, literally sat in front of me and he said, I know how it tastes like. How does it taste like? He says, you eat every single day. I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's your curry. Then he started saying that the food that he eats is so like bland and it's so simple. Yes, and he goes, when I eat like our ghost and whatever, he says, as soon as I take it in my mouth, it's like a burst of flavor just comes in my mouth and I don't know what I'm tasting. Yes, so it's a way to explain it maybe. Yes, obviously we don't have like 17 hours, but in heaven you will. Yes, and it'll come out inshallah into your mouth. And and if you eat like me, everything tastes the same to me. Okay, I think for me it's a sense that the only thing that gets to you is chilies. Yes, if food doesn't have chili in it, then I'm alright. Yes, but you can literally put anything else in it, and it all just tastes the same to me. Yeah, you know, if you go to the restaurant and they have one balti, one karai, and whatever, I just look at it, and even when I eat it just tastes all the same. Yes, but in heaven, those things that you will eat, the flavor of each one when you eat it, yes, you will be able to tell it from the other. Yeah? Like sometimes look, you eat ghost and things like this. Yes, there might be pepper in there, black pepper in there. There might be 10,000 other things in there, but sometimes you can't tell. You're not sure what you're tasting, or sometimes one thing is greater than the other, and that's one of the meanings here as well. Too much salt in there, then you actually feel it. Yes, too less salt in there, you still feel it. Too much masala in there, and then you feel it. But what happens then is that if there's, for example, too much chilies in it, yes, you don't even taste the boti in that then. Well, that's my experience anyway. Yeah, it just takes it all out, doesn't it? Yes, but he is showing as well that everything is just perfect. It's at its limit where you need it. Yes, the food that you're gonna eat is at its limit. So you will know how much black pepper, how much masala, how much chilies, how much whatever is in there. Yes, and you'll taste every single one in your mouth. Okay. And I believe in cooking they say that as well. That whatever ingredients you put in, when you eat it, you should get a flavor of every single one. And one should not be greater than the other. Yes? Because if one is greater than the other, then there's no balance in the food. Yes? Hence why the Prophet ﷺ would take a cucumber and a date. It wasn't 2 cucumbers, it wasn't 3, it was just one. And one slice of it and one date. Yes? It balances it out. You know what you're tasting, aren't you?
Hot on the cold.
Hot and the cold. Okay. Just some cooking lessons for you. The first people to enter heaven, their faces will be so bright, just as the moon is bright on the 14th night. The second group that will enter will be as though it's a bright star. Their faces are like bright stars. And people of heaven will be united. Their hearts are united. There's no ikhtilaf. Yes? There won't be difference of opinions. No marriage issues okay, to deal with. I think when the ulama get into, these days ulama have to deal with marriage issues as well. But I think when they're going to get into heaven, they're just going to shukr. Alhamdulillah, it's stopped. And the men will at least get 2 bibiyan, okay, two wives, yes, two wives from there, okay. But somebody asked me this question last time I taught this as well, that what about the women? What do they get? It's all about men here, isn't it? Yes. The husbands for the wives will be whatever they want them to be. Okay? Yes? That, if they want him to be a gentleman, that he opens the door, he stands for her, right? They will do that. They will do that. Okay? But again, it comes down to this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making the men good first. Yes? They do good, then the women will follow. Yes? But it doesn't cancel out the blessing that women will get in heaven as well. They will get whatever they want. Yes? They will get whatever they want. And one thing about women as well, even if their husband is cruel, yes, they still love him to bits. It happens. If you've ever dealt with marriage cases, then you'll know that the guy will say all sorts. Yes, the lady's about to go through a breakup, but she'll still say, I still love him. She's broken up with him, she's whatever, she's doing everything, she'll still say, he did whatever he did to me, but I still love him. And it happens. Yes? It's a sign that however the husband might have been in the dunya, yes, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives him and he enters heaven, the husband will be however you want him to be. Yes?
She has that rahmah.
She has the rahmah, yeah. She has the mercy. Very good. Every hur will wear 70 clothes. 70 odd clothes. Okay. I can't personally relate to that, but I can relate to it in terms of Moroccan wedding. Okay. Because from my experience in a Moroccan wedding, the wife, the bride rather, she must have worn about I counted about 10. Yes. In the span of 5 hours. Yes. 10. That's in the UK. Yeah. And it was a bit shocking, as Is it a wedding party or a dress party? Which one is it? Yeah, but the Moroccans are known for that. If you read up on Moroccan history, they do that. Yes, the bride she wears like, I think every hour or something, they have some time limit where she has to keep changing her dress. Okay, what's that? Multiple outfits. And who pays for it all? That's a tradition. The husband has to pay for it all. So then he goes into the description of the hurs. So he does a lengthy description of the hurs. Inshallah ta'ala, you can read up on that. Further on, he says that when any person will go into heaven, when he goes into heaven, then near him and around him, hurs will be singing. But their singing will not be devilish. Yes, it will be pure singing. Maybe a qawwali or something. Okay. Pure singing, isn't it? Yes. And they'll have beautiful voices, and they'll be singing something like that we are everlasting. The hurs, they will say this, that we are everlasting, we will not die, we are of tranquility, peace, security, we do not cause pain, we are happy, and we are never upset. And blessed be the one who we are for and he is for us. Okay. So they will sing this, they're just welcoming you into heaven. Okay. But a true husband will be that person who still loves his wife. Yes? A true servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take this blessing as a blessing, but then his sight will still be for his wife. You have to read in the middle. For these blessings can be easily given to the lady as well, can't they? By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's powerful over everything. Yes? But He's given you as a blessing to realize that you already have a blessing. Yes? And that's that lady who you spend your life with. Yes? That lady who you spend your life with. And then, are those people that are going to go into heaven, are they going into heaven just to feed their nafs? Or are they going to be those people who have really killed their nafs? And they won't be looking towards these things. Yes? So you have to look along those lines as well. And this is why these examples are given. So these were some descriptions of heaven. There's a lot more you can read up on that, inshallah ta'ala. We might just mention it next week as well, but next week we'll talk on hell. Yes. So there's always a balance of things. Yes. Talk about the good, then we finish on the Bashir and Nazir. Inshallah. Okay. So we'll talk about hell next week. Okay. Where did we get in fiqh? Anybody remember?
Reciting Quran that is not memorized.
What's that, sorry?
Reciting Quran that is not memorized.
Reciting Quran.
Nullifications of prayer.
Nullifications of prayer.
So 1866. It says 68 things.
Did we do the takbir masla? The matter of saying Allahu Akbar incorrectly.
That's the one just.
Yeah, just before that.
We've done that.
Yeah, I found it. Right, from those things which break the salah, we mentioned quite a few things, but one thing is that if a person recites something that he has not memorized from the mushaf, that's the Quran, then this, according to us, breaks the salah. Yes? But if you know it off by heart, and it's just maybe in front of you, and as you're reading, you read it off the wall as well, then it's fine. But if you haven't memorized the verse, and then you've got the Quran open in front of you and you're reading it, according to us, it breaks your salah.
So reading it from facing in projections, like, or one can...
Yeah, for example, if you know it in terms of memory, if you know it, and then you still read it off the wall, but as your recitation of namaz was wajib, you recite it off the wall, but you know it off memory as well, then it's fine. Yes, it's makruh to do that, but it's fine. But if you don't have it memorized, and then you read it off a wall, and count it as your recitation of prayer, yes, then this breaks your salah, because that is reading, not reciting. If that makes sense. Yes? To fulfill a rukn of farz of salah, like qiyam or ruku or sujood, in such a way, or the possibility of that ruku. So you can always say like 3 seconds, because the shortest thing that you have is roughly about 3 seconds. Second, the tasbih, isn't it? So, in that place, in a place of fard action in salah, you do it in such a way that your aura is open. Yes? Your aura is open, then this breaks the prayer. Brothers have to be careful when they go into sajda and they have jeans on and short t-shirts or shirts. Yes? And then what happens is that this exposes you. Okay?
So is there a limit for how many seconds before it...
What we said is the amount of time it takes you to fulfill a farz of prayer, i.e. one farz within the prayer, like a qiyam or a ruku. So the shortest one is like a sajda and a ruku, isn't it? Yes? So it's about 3 seconds because you read about 3 tasbihs. Yes? So then if it's open for that much time, then it will break your prayer. If you cover it up straight away, then it's fine. Yes? It's a big major problem for brothers. Somebody gave a wrong fatwa on this, an answer in regards to this. I have no idea where they got it from, but they said that if you are reading salah and Imam has gone into sajda, the person in front of you has gone into sajda, but you're still standing. If he goes into sajda and his jeans go down and his shirt goes up, then this person gave the answer that that person's namaz is broken, and you as the onlooker, your namaz is broken as well. I can understand it to the aspect of the person, because we just answered that if it's open for the whole rukn, then his namaz is broken, but the onlooker's namaz is definitely not broken. Yeah? And the truth is, we have more extreme cases which the author has mentioned anyway. I think we did them in the back, yes, in regards to wuzu and things like this, yes. So more extreme things that can take place and they won't break your salah, yes. So I'm not sure how he came to the conclusion that it broke the salah. Sisters have to be careful in terms of the forearms, yes, in terms of their feet. Yes. it's always good to wear socks when praying. Okay. Why? Because when you sit in the tashahhud position, yes, the ankles tend to unveil themselves. Yes. So just to take a precaution for salah, you should wear your socks. Yeah. Even when you go out, as precaution, you should wear socks. Okay. To make sure that your aura is properly covered. Yes. Hands are fine. Okay. So you have to be careful about your wrists, yes, and your forearms. They sometimes are unveiled in salah. If you want to wear gloves, then that's fine as well. Okay. But they're the most danger points, and generally for salah as well, especially at home. When you go out, you do the veil properly, but at home you're more loose, yes, in terms of how you dress yourselves, which is fine. It's fine. One Ishtaq used to tell us a joke that it was actually a true story that happened. Somebody came to him and said that my daughters are so pious. He said to him that, why is this? And he said, when my daughters come home, they put on their scarves. Okay. So when the truth was, if you went maybe about 10 years ago, or some of the elders, girls, when they used to come in front of their grandparents and stuff like this, they should put the scarves on. Yes. But it's a total different concept Islamically though. Yes. So the joke is that, no, they're meant to be wearing the scarves when they go outside. When they're inside, they can be a bit loose and they can take the scarves off. Yes. If I was to give you extreme case, yes, if a lady was to wear a skirt just up to her knees, yes, and like a vest, yes, which just unveils her collarbone, yes, and unveils her arms, yes. If a lady was to just wear these two things at home, is completely fine. Yes, in front of her mahram. For example, brother, father, grandfather. Obviously, we wouldn't advise it. We're not saying do it. I'm saying the extreme case is this. If this was to happen, then in terms of Islamic and the boundary is fine. Yes, which shows to us that at home you don't have to wear your scarf. If there's a non-mahram in the room, then you do have to wear your scarf. So in here we have to be careful of see-through scarves. So at home sometimes you wear these things, you have to be careful of see-through scarves. Don't wear see-through scarves. Okay, for salah. Don't wear them for salah because it will break your salah if it's see-through. Secondly is women tend to, when they're at home, tend to just put their scarf between the ears, or behind the ears rather. Yes, you see a lot of elder women do that. They put the scarf behind their ear. Again, your ears are part of your aura. So when you read salah, your ears need to be covered. Yes, your ears need to be covered for that. And little things like this, little things in this manner. Another thing which breaks salah is to pray salah with impurity, which prohibits you praying. More than a £2 coin, the size of a £2 coin, if that's on your body, your clothes, then this needs to be removed. Another thing that breaks salah is for a muqtadi to go ahead of the imam by one rukn. What that means is that you have actually prayed a whole rukn by yourself. A whole rukn by take it this way, that you went into ruku before the imam. So imam is still in qiyam, and you said Allahu Akbar and gone into ruku. Now what happens is that you meant to stay in ruku until he meets you, and then wait for him to say Sami Allah. He gets up, then you get up with him. But let's say that he was coming into ruku and you were coming out of ruku. Yes? Does that mean you've done ruku all by yourself? You have, haven't you? Then that means you've gone ahead of the imam. Yes? This will break your salah. You was meant to be the follower, not the what? The imam. Yes? You were meant to do blind following here. Okay? But you did it. Yes? You didn't, did you? Okay, I'm only joking, not blind following. Okay.
Does that also relate to women that are following?
The imam, yes. They can't go ahead of him. Simple rule. The Imam is always ahead and you're always behind. If you go ahead of him, the scenario is if you go ahead of him by mistake, then wait for him. Wait for him to get to that position. Yes? You got into ruku because you thought he said Allahu Akbar, but he was just reading the next ayat. Yes? When he's reading Quran, he says Allahu. Yes? He says something like that. Ayatul Kursi starts reading or something, right? And you think he said Allahu Akbar and you go straight into ruku. Yes? Obviously, if you think that he's going to take a long time to come into ruku, then go back. Then there's nothing upon you for going back. Join back. But if you think that I've gone ahead of him and now he's about to say Allahu Akbar, yes, then stay where you are, let him join you. Once he joins you, wait for his now coming out of ruku, yes, and then carry on the prayer as normal. If you come out of ruku without him, yes, that means you have done a whole farz by yourself, which breaks your salah then. For a masbook, a latecomer to prayer, to follow the Imam in sajda sahv. The scenario is that a person is a latecomer, but the Imam said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah on one side. But what this latecomer did was, he thought that the Imam's finished salah, he stood up. He stands up. Now he realizes that the Imam straight away said Allahu Akbar for sajda sahv. But where is this latecomer now? He stood up to make up the rakats he's missed. Yes? For him to come from that position and do a sajda sahv with the Imam breaks the masbook's salah, the latecomer salah. That makes sense? Yes? Makes sense, doesn't it? Just looks like you've seen a ghost. It's right, isn't it? Yeah, so you wait for the second salam. Give salam one way. When the Imam gives salam one way, wait. When he gives the second one, then you show that he's finished salah, hasn't he? Then you stand up. But if the Imam gives one salam and you stand up and then he says Allahu Akbar, you just destroyed your own salah. You have to read your salah again. He's fine. Okay. Another thing that breaks the salah is not repeating the last attahiyat after doing the sajda of salah. The scenario is that a person was reading salah, let's say in the first rakat or second rakat, he only did one sajda. So what does he have to do? He has to make up the sajda in the namaz at the least, doesn't he? Before he finishes namaz. If he doesn't make up for it, then he has to repeat the salah. Yes? Even if you do sajda sahv. It's a farz, isn't it? Yes? So he has to make that sajda before the end of prayer. Before the end of prayer. Let's say he comes and he's reading and he did one sajda in one rakat, and then he said, I'm going to make up at the end. In the last rakat, I will do 3 sajda. Anyway, he comes to the last rakat and he does 2 sajda, 6 atahiyat. He reads up to Abduhu wa Rasuluhu, and then it clicks in his brain, I was meant to do the extra sajda. So now when he does the extra sajda, yes, if he does not repeat atahiyat again, his namaz is broken. Yes? The reason is that last atahiyat has to be last. Is the last of the farz, isn't it? The reading of it is wajib, but the sitting is farz. That sitting has to be done right at the end of prayer. What's happened here? He did read atahiyat, but he didn't make it at the end, did he? He did not make it at the end. So what happens here is that he might have read it, he has to do sajda, he has to come back, read atahiyat up to Abduhu wa Rasuluhu again, give salam, do sajda sahv, come back and read atahiyat again. Yes? And in all of those cases, he has to read attahiyat. No. Up to the Durood Sharif will be done after this one, the last attahiyat. Yes? But even if he doesn't do it, it'll be fine. For another thing that breaks salah is to not repeat a pillar of salah which he fulfilled sleeping. He fell asleep, but somehow managed to do whatever he did. Yes? So when he wakes up, if he finds himself in a different position from where he slept in, he needs to fulfill that same rukn again, repeat it before the end of salah. Another thing that breaks the salah is, obviously laughing breaks salah, doesn't it? Yes, it breaks wuzu as well and it breaks your salah. But let's say you're a latecomer. You are a latecomer, and then the imam is meant to give salam. Yes? But someone just cracked a joke. Yes? And the imam started laughing loudly. Imam's wuzu is broken, but his namaz is complete. Because at the end of salah, isn't it? Yes? The latecomer salah is broken. Yes? They say if you want revenge from somebody you hate, and you're the imam, you can maybe make him repeat his namaz again. Okay? It's just that it'll break his salah, wouldn't it? Yes? Another thing that breaks salah is that you were meant to read a 4 rakat namaz, and you had intended for 4 rakat namaz, but you gave salam at the end of 2. This will break your salah. Okay? Regardless of what intention you had. When you was meant to read 4 rakats and you ended at 2, this will break your salah. Doesn't matter if you thought that he was a traveler when he wasn't. Doesn't matter he thought it was Jummah when it wasn't, it was Zuhr namaz. It still breaks Islam, meaning he has to repeat it, and he has to repeat it as 4 rakats. He doesn't mind if he thought it was Taraweeh prayer when really it was Isha. Yes, he still has to repeat 4. Or he was newly to Islam and he thought that all namaz are only 2 rakats. Maybe because when he accepted Islam he was a traveler. Yes? This was a problem as well, at the time of the Khulafai Rashidin. At Hajj time, they used to do qasr in Mina. And what happened was that new people were coming. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Sayyidina Umar kept it as qasr. Yes? But new people kept accepting Islam. And in the time of Sayyidina Usman, what happened was that newcomers actually believed that the 5 daily prayers were only 2 rakat. Yes? So then Sayyidina Usman in Hajj kind of changed it. He would read full namaz in Hajj. Yes? But when he was really meant to be reading qasr. Okay? But we still adopt the opinion that if you're a traveler, then you read it as a traveler, and if you're a resident, then you read it as a resident. That's the asal. Okay. There's a small chapter straight after this, and this is in regards to certain makruh things. Certain things that don't break your prayer. For example, he writes that if something is written and on the wall, and the person who's praying salah, he understands it, he looks at it and he understands it, so in his brain. Or there's something stuck between his teeth and is less than a chickpea while in salah. Or a person passes by the place of sajda. Yes? In all of these cases, the prayer will not break, but the passerby is sinful. The person passing by is sinful. So now the common misconception is that if you walk past a person praying, then his namaz breaks. His namaz does not break. Nothing affects his salah, but the person who's passing by, he's sinful. But this has levels as well. That if you pass by from exactly the place where the person does sajda, where his forehead is, from the place of his forehead to his feet, if you pass in between that, then this is haram. This is haram to do. If it goes further on, then it's not as haram as we are saying in terms of between the person's place of sajda and his feet. Okay? But nevertheless, it does not break the person's salah. Does not break the person's salah. And then after this he mentioned the extreme case. I thought I mentioned it in previously, but it's here. Remember when we talked about a man going to sajda and his aura opens? Yes? He mentioned the extreme case here, that doesn't break salah. Yes? The scenario is that a person who may have divorced his wife, yes, with talaq raj'i, but then he sees his wife, Yes, so they may be still in the same house. Yes, in talaq raji she's still his wife really. Min wajin she's still his wife, but he sees her in a state which he shouldn't have seen her on. Yes, extreme case. Now here we'll say that his namaz will not be broken. Meaning he's looked at his wife in such a case which he shouldn't have been looking at her in. But what we say here as well in terms of the hukam is that his namaz is not broken. His namaz is not broken, and that the divorce that he gave, he's retracted it as well. It's a ruju. Yes, so she's still his wife. Okay, and we count that as a ruju as well. Yes, I try to be as subtle as possible. Okay, but you can read into that line inshallah ta'ala and you'll be made more clear. Normally I say these things openly, but I've just seen a few kids, that's why I'm a bit saying it in this way. Normally my classes I just say as it is. Okay, you're all adults, alhamdulillah. The next chapter is regards to those things which are makruh in salah. The author writes that there are 77 things which he is pointing out which are makruh in salah. That is, to leave a wajib in salah is makruh tahrimi. If you intentionally leave a wajib in salah, yes, it breaks your salah, simple as. Intentionally. To leave a sunnah intentionally in salah. I know he's written that to leave a wajib is makruh, okay? But I'm of the opinion that it'll break your salah if you leave it intentionally. Okay? So these makruh things are like playing with your clothes. Yes, playing with your clothes. Playing with your body. For guys, it's their beard. You see guys just standing there going, it's all day long. Okay. The Prophet used to stroke his beard like this, maybe. But that was a sign of contemplation that the Prophet was in a deep thought, and only then. The Prophet's eyesight used to be to the ground and he used to be doing this maybe, as narrated. But not constantly. Not too constant. Danish knows what happens when you do it too constantly. Eh? One of my good friends, Ustad Mudassar, he has a habit that he constantly does this, and he's always had the habit. Yes? To a point he's doing it so much, yes, that his had hair loss. So his beard grows from there and he's really short from in the middle. Yes? But that's because he constantly, because he used to have a nice beard, mashallah, inline everything. Yes? But then because he's constantly, you see him, he'll be talking and he's just doing this with his beard. Do dua for his father. I was just at his father's 40th khatam. His father passed away roughly 40 days ago. His khatam was today in Jamia Hanfiya. Another thing which is makruh in salah is to turn over stones in salah. Okay. That, just take it as not just stones, anything. Yes. So, but you can do it once. If you see something harmful but you're going to prostrate, then you can just swipe over it and move it out of the way once. Yes, but not constantly. Yes, and if it's something that really harms, then you can do it as much times as you like, as you need rather. Another thing which is makruh is farqatul asabi'. Yes, is, what do you call it? Cracking fingers. Yes, this is makruh. This is generally makruh. It's not just makruh in salah. It's definitely makruh in salah, but outside of salah it's makruh to do as well. The Prophet ﷺ akined it to the sound of the devil. Yes, so don't crack your fingers unless you have a need. Is it arthritis? The illness? No? Is it a misconception? Okay, that's good, that cleared up. Huh? It's good to crack. Not the way that people do as playing with them. Yes, you always do it when you have a need to do it. This is what I'm saying. People who have arthritis, don't they have a need to crack their fingers? No? Don't they have a need? I've always heard it from elders that they have a need to, and they have arthritis, that they have a need, a pain to crack their fingers. What I'm about to say is, then it's okay. Yes, then you have a need to do it. Yes, when something's hurting, then you can have it. I've seen people, and I've had it on myself as well, where your fingers lock, yes, and when it locks, then you have this need to crack it, yes. That's fine to do. That doesn't come under the hadith. This is when you're actually just playing with them. People play and they keep cracking, yes. They do all sorts. It's like they shuffle pack of cards and everything, like they're doing something like that with their hands. But this is makruh outside of salah as well. Tashbeek we call just literally this. Yes? This is makruh. In salah, definitely makruh. When waiting for salah inside the masjid is makruh as well. Okay? So if you're waiting for your namaz, to do something like this is makruh. You know why? It's a sign of boredom. You must have seen your elders, grandparents, they do that and they start doing this. Yes? It's a sign of boredom, so you don't do that in the masjid. Yes? Sayyidi Ali al-Khawas, the Shaykh of Imam Sha'rani, yes, he would used to enter the masjid. He used to rather wait at the door of the masjid and not enter by himself. When somebody used to come, that's when he used to walk in with them. And when he used to join the namaz, as soon as the Imam had said as-salam, he used to just get up and walk straight back out. Somebody asked him, and he said that I'm in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but when you are in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means you are close to Allah. When you are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the smallest of things can be the biggest of things. Yes? So I come out of the masjid straight away because I don't want to fall into those makruh actions, and then He holds me to account for them. Yes? Meaning when you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these little things mean a big thing as well. Okay? So this is why he used to go out and say, Imam Sha'rani writes that when he used to do this, he used to be shivering. Yes? And when he used to go into the masjid, he used to be shivering. Yes? So these things mean a lot. So it's a sign of boredom to do this and start doing that, because you're waiting for salah in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You shouldn't be bored. Yes? You should be taking a long wait for your salah.
Is that even worse, for example, just after the iqamah is, the iqamah is being done and you're standing and you hold your hands like that?
Yeah, that as well you shouldn't do.
Yeah,
that applies to that as well. Yes, people start yawning, right? And sometimes I hear iqamah being done and people be like, at last. Yes, yeah, things like this they shouldn't be done inside the masjid. Tahassur is that Superman pose. Yes, tahassur is a Superman pose, i.e. Putting your hands on your hips and standing. Yes, this is makruh even outside salah. You should not stand like this. It's a devil's stand, and you stay away from doing these things. I mean, if you're going for a jog and then sometimes you have to hold your hips, don't you? And it helps, yeah? Then it's fine, there's a need for it, but you don't do those poses, yes? Pakistanis used to have this like pose where they used to have one hand down and one hand on the hip, yes? And with one foot sticking out, okay? Those poses you should not do. And stay away from these poses, especially like on hips, yes? And, what's that? With exercise, when you have a need to do it, then it's fine. Yes, I'm talking generally when people pause. Yes, you'll see men just standing and they're not in need of holding the hips. Yes, but they just stand there like this. Yes, yeah. And arrogant people stand like that as well. Yes, it's a sign of arrogance. Yes, same thing with stand. Yeah, it's a sign of arrogance. Yeah. I was in a situation once recently where the lights went off. And I was on a musalla. The musalla was nice. And it had flowers on it. But the lights went off. And when the lights went off, in between the flowers, there's this white pattern as well. Yes, that's like meant to be the background. Yes. But when the lights went off, I could only see that white pattern. I couldn't see the flowers. But anyway, I'm on this musalla. All I could see was that, but that white pattern was literally, it looked like the devil standing like this. Yes, and you could see his horns and everything. Yes, after that day I've decided not to use these patterned musallas. I prefer plain musallas. But literally, if I ever come across that musalla again, I'll show you. Yes, literally, when you look at it, you could see his feet, you could see his arms, you could see his horns, literally everything. Yes.
One of the
I'm not sure, you know. The musalla was already there. I just sat on it and I prayed on it.
You generally tend to see a face in anything.
In anything, yeah. But I think it was more apparent when the lights went off. Because it literally pitched dark and there's a bit of light that would let me see the whiteness of it. But I could literally see what it was. So this is makruh to do. Iltifat bi unuqihi, to look left and right by turning your neck. This is makruh in salah. So just looking left and right is makruh in salah. Iq'a. Iq'a, the literal meaning is to, in Arabic they say sit like a dog. Okay? But we don't translate like that. Is to sit with your legs up. Yes? To sit with your legs up. You know how you sit on the floor sometimes just with your legs up like that? Yes? To sit like this in salah, this is makruh to do. Outside of salah is sunnah. Okay? Outside of salah it's sunnah to sit like that, but not with your legs crossed. Okay? It's not sunnah to sit like that with your legs crossed. The Prophet used to sit like this, but have his feet together like this. Okay? And sometimes the Prophet used to have his arms around and hold. Sometimes the Prophet would have the shawl and put it around the legs, yes, and used to go behind, which leaves the arms free, and they should tie it. Okay? We'll leave the arms free.
You get like a little, like a habaib sometimes.
Yeah, they use that, yeah, and they put it around the. Yeah, imama is good enough.
Yeah.
Yes? The Prophet used to use a shawl. I've seen them, but they make me think that, you know, what you put around suitcases.
Yeah.
Yes?
It's like a banding.
It's like a banding, isn't it? And it has the little strap on it. But it reminds me, you know, when you're like putting plaster balls on top of one and you want to tie them up. And they use those orange straps. But you rather use a shawl or something like this. Yes, you fulfill the sunnah. The more closer you are to the sunnah, the more reward you get. Okay? So that's not to say that using a strap, you will fulfill the sunnah, but you won't fulfill the sunnah of using a shawl or something that the Prophet ﷺ used. Another thing that is makruh in salah is, this is for men by the way, is to put your forearms on the ground. Yes, so placing your forearms on the ground is makruh. Another thing that's makruh is to fold your sleeves. This is makruh in salah. If you fold any part of your clothes, particularly for salah, it's makruh. That includes your trousers. If you do it particularly for salah. If your clothes are long and you've already folded them, yes. For example, for men to keep it above the ankles, the trousers above the ankles. So either they folded them from the bottom or they folded them from the top, yes. But not for salah, but just throughout the whole day, that they dress like that, yes. These trousers are just slightly longer, so he's folded them. In that case, the salah is fine. That folding is accepted because that's your natural state now. That's how you wore those clothes. Yes? What's makruh is to do it particularly for salah. When you come for salah and you fold it up. Yes? Similar scenario is you might have folded your clothes for wuzu. Or folded your forearms for wuzu. You went, you did wuzu. This for men, obviously your salah wouldn't be done in that case, yes, because of the aura masala. So for men, you've came and all of a sudden you joined salah without, you're forgetting that you had your arms up in this manner. Then in that case, your salah is fine, yes. To do it particularly for salah, this is makruh, and ulama have said it's makruh tahrimi as well. Okay.
What if you're like, if you're in Tarawih and it's suddenly got really hot and there's no aircon?
Yeah.
Then
Subhanallah. Take a break. You don't do it in the middle of salah. Okay? You don't do it in the middle of salah in that sense. Take a break, go get some other clothes on. Okay? But you don't fold your clothes. It's a negation that the Prophet gave us, that he said that I have been commanded to prostrate upon all seven and not to gather my clothes. Okay. Another thing which is makruh in salah is to pray your salah in just your salwar. It's said different ways, isn't it? Yes, you just your trousers. This is for men again. Obviously, if a lady did it, then it'll be there's no salah is there. Yes, but for men, because their aura is different, they can pray without a shirt, but it'll be makruh. Yes, without a shirt, it is makruh. Specifically when you have strength to wear it. You know, when you read Fajr at home, and you just get out of bed, you do wuzu, and you just read however you are. Okay? This is for those type of people. Okay? It's makruh to do that. It's makruh to do that. You should wear a shirt or something and then pray your salah. To give salam with the hand. Like that. This is makruh. To sit cross-legged, that's what you call it, as you sit on the floor. This is makruh in salah without a reason. If you have a reason, then it's permissible to sit. The Prophet ﷺ once fell off a horse, and the Prophet ﷺ injured their foot. And when they read prayer that time, when they sat in tashahhud, the Prophet sat cross-legged on the ground. Okay. So it proves that it's jais to sit like that in salah, but with the reason. If you don't have a reason, then it's makruh. To sit, it's makruh in to sit. I mean, if the khutbah of Jummah, for example, is done standing, and it's makruh not to stand. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu saw a man, Qazi Iyaz narrated this in his Shifa, saw a man giving khutbah sitting. Yes, says Umar grabbed his beard and dragged him straight out of the mosque. Okay. As in? Oh no, that's fine. Sorry, I thought you were one about the Imam. He said in the khutbah. But anyway, we got both hukams. Yes, so the khutbah has to be done standing, and Sayyidina Umar threw that man out. Okay. And in regards to the person, they can say however they like. Okay. Just not move. Pay attention. For a man to braid or tie his hair, okay, have a gut and what do you call it? Ponytail. Okay, this for salah you can't. You can have it outside of salah. That's up to you. But not in salah. It needs to be opened up for salah. The next masla is i'tijar. I'tijar is to fasten something around your head with the middle naked. And that's what i'tijar is. And that's the actual meaning of i'tijar. Okay. You'll see a lot of people saying that to wear an imamah over a hat and leaving the middle part of the hat naked is also i'tijar. That's not i'tijar. That does not come under i'tijar. I'tijar is, you know how Shia fasten the imamah? They just put on top of the head, don't they? And they leave the middle naked. You can see the head in the middle. Yes, that's what we call i'tijar. To fasten the imamah just around your heart and leave the top of the hat naked, this is perfectly fine. It doesn't come under this masala. So it's makruh to do that for men, that is. To hold back your clothes, this is slightly different masala, and that is, for example, when you go into the ground, you gather all your clothes together and then go to the ground so that they don't get dirty. Yes, this is also makruh. To do sadal is makruh tahrimi. Sadal is simple. Sadal is if you have a cloth or whatever and you just have both strands on each side. This is sadal basically. Yes, like some people wear scarves and they just leave them dangling down. Yes, this is sadal. Yes, this is called sadal. Sadal is makruh tahrimi. If this happens in salah, you have to repeat your salah again. Yes, the way to get out of sadal is that you just get one strand of it and just put it on the other side. Okay, and that's for men and women. Okay, robes included as long if your arms are not in it. Yes. Yeah, Saudis play too much in namaz. If you ever watch the Saudis Imams, the man literally takes like 30 seconds sorting himself out. If he comes out of sajda, he's finding his footing first, then he's finding his jubbah, inner jubbah, then he's finding his outer jubbah, then he's finding his hands, then he realizes where he needs to put them. Yes? So, so all of that, and literally like 30 seconds to a minute, and then the guy starts reciting. Yes? According to us, that's too long. Yes? And according to us, the way they do it as well, as in they're constantly playing with their robes, with both hands. Yes? Isn't it amale kasir? Yes? That breaks salah, according to us. Hence we come to the conclusion that I don't pray behind Saudi Imams. Yes? You were going to ask me at some point, so I tell you anyway, I do not pray behind Saudi Imams. Okay?
And this holding of the clothes, sometimes the Israelis wearing the jubbahs occasionally,
Yes.
so they're not used to it, so if they go to the
Yeah, for a minor movement, even for the boys, they wear jeans. Yes? It's kind of an opposite masala, but the same result. The girls wear loose clothing, and sometimes it's hard for them to handle those clothes. And the boys wear tight clothing, and they can't go into sajda because of it. Right? But both have a technique, the same technique, where they tend to just push their clothes up slightly. If it's just a little small action, then it's fine. Yes? A small action, then it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's a case of where you're gathering all of the clothes together, yes, and then going in, then that is makruh to do. And it'll break your salah if it's abundant amount of work. Amle kasir. What's that? Just for men, that's for men. Plaited I meant in terms of having a ponytail. It needs to be open.
You said a question, someone said that would a badge around the neck class as sort of,
A badge?
yeah, you know, like
What's
a
that?
lanyard or something.
Will it, it's tied, isn't it?
Yeah, so it wouldn't really.
No, it wouldn't. But it's a nuisance.
Mm.
Yes. So put it away. You can take that off. It wouldn't. It won't be classed as sadal in that sense because it's tied around you. Yeah.
So this is about like the Malikis have standing and so on. Is it interchangeable?
It's only in our fiqh this that we don't allow it. We don't allow it. I'm sure the Shafis allow it on various other fiqhs. To wear a clothes in such a way where you can't even take your hands out. Yes, this is makruh. You have to take your hand. This is for men, by the way, not for sisters. This is for men, that you wear clothing where you take your hands out. Remember for takbir tahrima we said you have to take your hands out. Yes, and then after you can put them back in. But the starting has to be done in this way. If you can't do that, then your namaz isn't started, and is makruh. To wear your clothes in such a way that you place the cloth under your right underarm and place the strands of it on your over your left shoulder. Okay, this is makruh to do in salah as well. Like you do in Hajj. Yes, similar maybe to that. That's makruh to do in normal salah that is out of that state of ihram. To recite in other than qiyam, this is makruh. So reciting in ruku or sajda, this is makruh to do. To make the first rakat longer than the second rakat in nafal. So in nafal prayer, when I say nafal here, I mean your sunnahs as well. Okay, both of them. Remember that generally when I say nafal from the book, then I refer to sunnahs and your normal nafil prayers that you read. With other than farz namaz, you are meant to keep every rakat equal. Yes, in terms of recitation. So try to read the same amount of verses. What we mean by one rakat has become longer than the second rakat is in terms of if you go 3 or more verses above what you recited previously. Yes, so if you read about 2 verses, then you're fine. 2 verses extra, that's fine, they're equal. If you read 3 or more verses, then we say that now it has become lengthier than the first one. So in Nafil prayer and Sunnah prayer, you're meant to keep them the same. To lengthen the second rakat over the first one, yes, in all your prayers, this is makruh. Yes, because the first one is meant to be longer than the second one. To repeat a surah, this is makruh in farz namaz. To constantly keep repeating a surah in every rakat is makruh to do. Change the surah in farz namaz if you know one. Another thing which is makruh in namaz is to recite one surah and then in the second rakat recite a surah before it. So going backwards in the Quran. This is makruh to do in namaz. Another thing which is makruh in salah is that you recite a surah in the Quran and then miss a surah and go to the next one. So for example, you recited Surah Ikhlas. What surah comes after it? Surah Falaq. You miss Surah Falaq and go to Surah Nas. Yes? This will make the namaz makruh. Okay. No, even if it's in the next rakat.
So your surah's got to be in order.
Your surahs have to be, first of all, the surahs have to be in order. As in, if you recite, Surah Wateen, okay, and then recite Surah Nas, that's fine. That's one thing. The Quran has to be in order that way. Yes, if you read Surah Ikhlas and then read Iza Ja Nasrullah, yes, that's makruh to do. The masala I'm talking about now is that you make a gap, even though you're going forward, that's fine, but you made a gap of one surah. That you recited Surah Ikhlas, missed Surah Falaq and went straight to Surah Nas. That is makruh to do. Yes? But if, for example, you recited Surah Nasr Iza Ja Nasrullah and then missed out Tabbat Yada, missed out Surah Ikhlas and then went to Surah Falaq, that's perfectly fine.
2 surahs is okay.
Yeah, 2 surahs is okay. Yes? 2 surahs and go to the third one, that's fine. But to have a gap of 1 surah in between 2 surahs, that's not fine. That is makruh. To take a scent of fragrance, in salam, constantly, this is makruh to do. Or the musalla's got some nice oud on it. Yes, and when you're going to sajda and you're just constantly taking the oud in, that's makruh to do. They are makruh tahrimi in salah, yes. To make a fun out of your clothes, yes. So you're in salah and you start doing this, that's makruh to do. Or to actually use a fan, those hand fans, that's makruh to do. Once or twice is makruh. If you do it more than twice, third time will break your salah, wouldn't it? It's amle kasir now. To turn your fingers and toes away from Qibla, this is makruh. In sajda, that is. And is makruh tahrimi in sajda. No, then they should be somewhat facing Qibla. If they're facing the total opposite way, then you're standing the wrong way. Okay. To let go of placing both your hands upon your knees in ruku.
Was that for men specific or was it women?
For women as well, in sajda. No, for men.
Yeah.
For men specifically.
Women are.
Yeah, women will have their feet towards the side. To place your hand, letting go of placing your hands upon your knees in ruku, men and women, difference is men hold on to it, women just place it gently onto their knees, we still have to do it. Yawning in salah is makruh. To close the eyes is makruh. The natural state is that your eyes should be open. Okay? But if it's for concentration, it's fine. If it's for concentration, it is fine. To raise your eyes towards the sky. Some ulama said this is makruh tahrimi as well. because this was only for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do. Stretching is makruh in salah, stretching out. Amale qaleel is makruh, small amount of work, but it doesn't break salah, but it's still makruh. And in this case, it will be makruh tanzihi. To pick nits, okay, okay, and kill them as well. Yes. To cover the nose and the mouth in salah. This is for men, not for women. To place something in the mouth, like a chewing gum or something, which doesn't allow you, like a jawbreaker, okay? Put something like that in your mouth and then it doesn't allow you to recite according to the sunnah. Yes? So this is, I heard pan then as well, so so something like pan as well, when they put it in, it's awful though, isn't it? Somebody took me once to try some the sweet pan which they don't have tobacco in, but I hated it. Okay. If you have something like that, obviously it stops you from reciting, doesn't it? Because it stops your tongue from reaching those places in your mouth which you have to touch for the specific letters to come out. Yeah, I'm sure you're all part of the Tajweed course, aren't you? Yes? One person, sisters? Anyone? Part of tomorrow's, it's tomorrow, isn't it? Yes? No one? You should join it. Join the beginners class, mashallah. It's a good course. You learn a lot, inshallah. And it's cheap as chips, isn't it? Probably cheaper than chips. Yeah? It's £3 now. Chicken and chips is £3. Yes? And what I think is what, £67 for the whole?
I think it's £27 for 10 week course and £90 for a year.
£90 for a year. Yeah? Which is cheaper than chicken and chips. Okay? Join it, inshallah ta'ala. The sisters, well, the sisters I think recite separately anyway. Yes? I think at the moment they're going one-to-one, aren't they?
Yeah, we just
Yeah?
classes with
You got groups of sisters, but then I think they come to Qari Abdullah. We recite him with him. Okay? So it's good. So you're not reciting in front of the brothers. Yes? He sometimes does forget. Yes? So there's nothing wrong with reminding him. I think once or twice he's left the brothers in the room. Nothing wrong with reminding him. He will tell them to.
now I think it's completely alternated. It's
Okay.
that sisters are it's half an hour slots.
Okay.
And the sisters come and recite at their particular
At their
time.
particular-
They're
okay.
They're the first people anyway.
Also, they're not staying for the whole 2 hours, are they? Yes, so it's fine. You're only coming for like 15 minutes or so.
It's about half
Yes, so
an
you can
hour.
come in, you recite to him, he takes your mistakes, or he tells you whatever he needs to tell you, and then you back to madrasa basically. Yes, but it's good. He'll teach you a lot, inshallah ta'ala. وَالسُّجُودُ عَلَىٰ قَوْرِ إِمَامَتِهِ. From here we will start next week, inshallah. Okay, we'll start from there. We'll stop there, but we'll start from there next week. Anybody remember the words that we learned last week? I'm only going to keep this short. We'll do this properly next week. We might even start off with this next week. Yes? Yes. It's a makruh. It's makruh. What did we do last time on this? I think I gave you hal, didn't I? Yes? We are, inshallah. We are, inshallah. I just thought I'd make it interesting for you. Yeah, a bit more fun. Because every time I taught it, you all went dry. You looked a bit like, what is he talking about? So I thought I'd change it. Right, I'll give you the next thing which you can look at is, I've told you this before, that we have a thing called ma'rifah and a thing called nakira. Ma'rifah and nakira. Ma'rifah is a specific noun. Ma'rifah is a specific noun. And nakira is a common noun. Okay. For now, okay. A specific noun was, for example, when I said to you that it has a tanween at the end. So, for example, non-specific already. Common noun was like baytun. How would that translate as? A house. A house. Okay. If we take the tanween away and put alif lam in the starting, we read it as al baytu. How would it translate? The house. So see how it's changed. This is nakira and this is ma'rifah. Yes? So from a common noun to a specific noun. And like that you can go through with everything. So if I said kitabun, what would the specific noun be? Al-kitabu. If I said qalamun, al-qalamu. If I said babun, al-babu. If I said waladun, to see the tanween goes by the alif lam. The tanween, the double pesh, double z, double zabar, and alif lam can never come together. Yes, they can never come together. If I say himarun, totally the answer now. Al-himaru, kitabun, al-kitabu. Okay. Now the next thing I want you to learn is to make the sentence. Yes. The first part of when you start with the noun will commonly be a ma'rifah. Will be a ma'rifah. So a sentence normally has two parts. Yes. If the sentence starts with the noun, then the first noun that you see commonly will be a specific noun. And the second noun in that sentence will be commonly will be a common noun, an unspecific noun. Yeah. So for example, if I want to say the door is open, yes, I'll say al-babu maftuhun. Al-babu maftuhun. Okay. So here, al-babu is ma'rifah, isn't it? Yes. Maftuhun is a ma'rifah or nakira? It's nakira, isn't it? Now, what does al-babu translate as? The door. Maftuhun, open, because it comes from fatah. It means to open. Maftuhun is ism maf'ul, isn't it? Yes. Maf'ulun. So when it's maf'ulun, what are the huruf asli in this? So you're going back to the book now. What's the huruf asli? Come on, in maftuhun. Huh? In maftuhun. Fa, ta, and ha. Yes? Fa, ta, and ha. What siga is it? Did we do this? How far did we get with the gardans? I can't remember. Did we do ism fa'il? No? No? Then I'm asking the wrong question. Okay. Did you do amr?
No, we haven't got to Amr yet.
You didn't go to amr. That's good. That's good. Okay, then I don't need to ask you this question. Anyway, what is it, Danish? This is called ism maf'ul. Yes? This describes the object. Yes? As in what has been done or what it was done upon. So the door was open, wasn't it? So here, maftuhun would mean open. So how does it translate?
Door is open.
West is? What does al-babu translate as? The door. What does maftuhun? So it translates the door. Literally, is the door opened? No. Open the door. That's Amr. Yes? Where's the is? Hmm? Hidden?
It's not hidden Arabic.
There's no hidden Arabic.
That's what it usually is.
Yes, there's no is in Arabic. There's no is in Arabic, but this combination, as in a sentence like this, where you put a noun in the starting like that, and then another noun straight after in this manner, yes, it brings a nisbah between them, a relationship between we call this mubtada and we call this khabar. What do we call it? Mubtada and khabar. So this relationship between mubtada and khabar, the relationship is that the khabar has a hukm, a command upon the mubtada. Yes, that's where the is comes in. Because is a command, a news, isn't it? Yes, yes, subject and news. So it's telling you what is there. Yes, so you said the door is open. Yes, it's telling you the connection between the door and the open. Yes, what's the connection between them? It's telling you the connection is. Yes, and that's how you will translate a sentence which always starts with a noun, not a verb, but a noun. It's always with is. What is it? Is, because is denotes continuation. Yes. So if I say the door is open, it also means that it's open right now as well. Yes. So even though from muftuhun, you're getting a sense of the past. You are, aren't you? The door is open. Yes. Or the door is opened. If you translate it like that, the door is open. You get a sense of the past tense, but you also get a sense because it's a sentence that starts with a noun that's happening right now. Yes. If you did it in a verbal sentence, yes, the door was open. The door was open, or was opened, whichever way you want to say it. Then in this case, you get a sense that it was opened, maybe now it's not. Yes? But in this sentence, what do you get a sense of? That it's carrying on right till now. Because it doesn't carry a tense. We're understanding the tense from the word muftuh, but not from the actual sentence. That makes sense? Have I gone too deep? It's a bit of eloquence for you. Okay. Like we say, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, even right now. It's got nothing to do, as in, not just in the past, even right now, and even in the future. We call this istimrar. What do we call it? Istimrar. Did we do mazi istimrari? You did? I'm sure you did. Kana yafalu? Yes? Yes? You remember that, don't you? That was the continuation of the past, wasn't it? So when you say kana yafalu, yes, he continuously did something. Yes? This sentence tells us that something continuously is happening. So when we say Muhammadur Rasulullah, the Prophet ﷺ is the messenger of Allah continuously even now. And it keeps carrying on every second. Yes? And it's not just a piece of news that came and finished. Okay? It's a bit of eloquence for you. The words that are given you, practice them inshaAllah ta'ala. Okay, with this. Work this out inshaAllah. Ma'rifah and nakira. How to go between the two, inshallah. See you next week, inshallah. There's no hiccups anymore, so we'll be fine now, inshallah.